Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tribal Trades. This is the daily show. It's Monday morning when you're watching this, or sometime on Monday, or maybe you're watching it Monday night. But I am recording this on Sunday after the weekend close, and I've generally done this. I generally haven't put out a video on Sunday, and then I wait till the weekly close, and I film after the weekly close and push that out on a Monday. So please be aware that some of the price levels may have changed that I show on the charts right now. If you haven't smashed the like, please, if you could do that, it will help get this video out to more people. The comments and the questions, I really appreciate those, and be patient. I do look to get back to all of those. Obviously, the Discord is a great place to connect with me and engage there. Really fantastic community. Love engaging with all the people in there in the Discord. I really do realize it is an investment. However, I think it's a great investment there. And if you go to stockswithjosh.com in the link below, you can get access and sign up for the Discord. Okay, so the last Bitcoin update video that I pushed out on Saturday morning pretty much predicted everything that just happened. I did say that we do not stay very long under the 200 EMA, and I was expecting a break above it, but I wasn't expecting us to go down to 49 to 51K. Of course, that's still a possibility, but that I felt it was more likely that we'd push up, and we were just hitting that 200 EMA too many times. We were just going to break through that. And so let's have a look. I'm going to look at a few news articles first, and then we're going to look at the chart. So first of all, we're going to look at the shorts that got liquidated. And this is going to be part of why there's a pump, because there is very low volume at the moment. So they say, never trust a weekend pump. So 360 million shorts get liquidated. What is that going to do? When they get liquidated, that's going to push the price of Bitcoin up, okay? So it's important to know that I'm not getting overly excited about this pump. I think it's great and I like it, don't get me wrong, but I'm going to be waiting to see how we close tomorrow. And this is also a reason why I'm not getting superly overly excited, okay? We now have this big CME gap. Now listen, CME gaps generally get closed. I don't know what the percentage is, but I believe it's in the high 90-something percent. I believe there may only be one or two CME gaps that haven't been closed, and they may never be closed. But generally speaking, the ones that have been opened, I don't know when the last CME gap that got opened hasn't been closed. It could have been a long time ago. So number one, I think this gap is going to get closed. Yes, I do. I think it's going to get closed sooner rather than later, and I'll tell you why. If you look at this here, if we close this gap in here around 58,300, that's actually where the 200 EMA is right now. The 200 EMA is around 58,200. So I think we can come down and retest this. And I think if we retest this here, I think it actually may hold as support and then bounce around. We did see we had a retest of this and actually then broke through it pretty quickly, just like we kind of broke through it here. And this trend line has been in place for a little while. So that's interesting. But you can see the volume. The volume is low and decreasing, but the price is going up. This is why I do not trust this pump entirely, okay? So a CME gap is created. Yes, Bitcoin could go from here and go all the way up to 100, 120K and then come all the way down and fill this in the next bear market. But my general feeling is, and from general experience, these CME gaps tend to get closed more often than not. Part of it, I think, is a self-fulfilled prophecy that all these posts go out and then people go, oh, the CME gap's going to get filled. I'm not going to buy, or I'm going to sell, or I'm going to take profit here, or whatever. And we do see price get driven, or people go too long, right? And then there's liquidations and it drops the price. Okay, so CME gap was created there. We have liquidation levels. There's still more liquidation levels, of course. And liquidation levels to the upside, if we got right up to 73, 74, 75,000, there's going to be a lot of people liquidated. But in the high time frame, levels to look out are 65, 68, and 72. To the downside, there's not a whole lot left to the downside. There is some down 50K and below, but I'm not sure if that liquidity is going to be tapped at this point. But certainly you never know, and this is why I have my cheat sheet with buy levels in there, that if we go lower, then there's some more dollar cost average buys that would get triggered, okay? Also, the weighted sentiment of the market was down at its lowest level, -2, since the COVID-19 crash in March 2020. I mean, that was a pretty big drop, July 4th drop. The German government just went crazy and sold a huge amount of Bitcoin on the open market exchange, not over the counter. So that was kind of a little bit crazy in itself. And certainly I did feel it was a bottom. You know, there were just so many bottom signals, and I share that in one of my videos in Life-Changing Gains. I believe it's episode 4, where I share the bottom signals such as funding rates, open interest, the fear and greed index, the weekly RSI. All of those things were in place, plus a whole bunch of stuff I've been sharing in my channel to give a real balanced view. So while people were very fearful, I was wanting to bring calm and just bring the facts and just bring information and share data and just be a voice of reason while people were fearful, panic selling. Remember, in the Life-Changing Gains strategy, we don't panic sell, we don't panic buy. We have all of our buy orders set up in advance. We have all of our sell orders to the upside set up in advance, so we can just relax. We don't be good, oh, should I be buying at this level? No, you already decided beforehand and you already put those buys in because you've been following the cheat sheet, okay? And it just leads to a lot easier trading, okay? We do have some sell orders around the level that we're at right now, 60 to 62,000, I believe. There are sell orders there, 400 million in sell orders sitting on Binance futures right now above these prices. So we have now, you can see, look what happened. We have come into resistance right around that level at around 62. Now we could actually retest this 50-day moving average sitting at around 64,000 before and be rejected. I don't expect us to break through at the first time of asking before we come back, and I would expect this to be retested. But we could hit this first and then come back and retest. We might not make it up to here before we retest, but when we do here, I do expect a rejection here. I expect a little bit of resistance here at this. And I've been saying all along very consistently that I think we'll just continue to move our way slowly up. I think we'll look to break above here. This area here, you can see we come through around October, and then we should be able to push up through to the end of the year and reach a new all-time high in the last quarter. Of course, we've got all the FTX money about to be released on the market as well. Also, just some other indicators, you know, and I look to share this all the time, because when Bitcoin is in realized losses and it drops below -12%, Bitcoin has soared 104 and 200% respectively. And we were, you know, I think this was earlier today before the pump, the losses were below -12 again. And look what happened. The market took off. And this is why I share these things with you, because look, I do believe that educated people are powerful people, and I want to make sure that you are educated. That's why I created my Life-Changing Gains series. I teach my trade, hodl, and accumulate strategy over 3 videos. I also share my local tops, how to identify local tops and local bottoms. And I bought the local bottom because I do feel it was a local bottom. Can we go lower? Sure. But I have some dry powder ready to buy if we do dip and wick a little bit lower. And then I shared my money printing method, which is all about my trade and swing trading. And I go through all of that. And I shared my cheat sheet as well. And I've talked about how to identify the right tokens to be in and how to read and measure tokens against the Bitcoin chart and the Ethereum chart, because I want you to be successful. I want you to grow in this bull market. I don't want you holding on to dead coins. I want you in the right projects. And I want you making money, because that's what it's all about. I want to see you break into financial freedom. Okay, and then just lastly here, last news item before we jump back to the charts, is that Bitcoin miner capitulation levels. We are really beginning to bottom out on that. So we're seeing here is comparable when Bitcoin was 16,000. So miner capitulation levels had really bottomed out at about the same rate. And so if we actually go back to the charts here, we haven't seen a blue buy signal here. We still have green. Okay, so that will be interesting to see as we move forward. And so as I mentioned before, we just have pumping, but the volume. So you can see the price is going up, but the volume is going down. So this is what I'm very, very wary about. I'll be very interested to wake up in the morning and see how the market reacts and see if there's some profit taking or a little bit of a sell-off, or maybe people FOMO a little bit more. But honestly, I will be expecting a pullback to the 200 EMA on the daily at around 58,200, and with that, the CME gap being filled at the same time, killing two birds with one stone. And again, it's just whether or not we come here and test here first, the 50-day moving average, which I feel, with the way Bitcoin's behaving right now, we're not far from it. So it's quite possible that we bust into that 50-day moving average, a rejection here, come back and retest this 200 EMA on the daily, fill the CME gap, hold some support there, and then obviously go back and look at retesting. How many times we'll need to retest? I mean, look how many times we banged on this 200 EMA, at least 1, 2, maybe 3 here, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 7 or 8 times, and we busted through there. So I'm going to expect we're going to have some resistance, some selling here at the 50-day moving average. Okay. All right. So we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you again for joining. I put all these videos out for you. I put a lot of time and effort and research into this videos because I want an informed people. I don't want to have manipulation that often happens. There is a lot of people, influencers that get paid to post certain things that can create panic, fear, and FUD. I'm not one of those people. If I ever receive any sponsorship on the channel, I will always fully disclose that to the community so that you can know. I can certainly say that is not the case for many influencers out there, and you need to be very careful when you're watching content or reading content and so forth. Have they been paid to push that content out there? Okay. And that's why I believe being so accurate with my calls, because these are things that I'm researching and putting out. The video that I put on Saturday, if you haven't watched it, go and watch it. It pretty much predicts everything that just happened the very next day, while everybody was calling for us to go down further to 51 and 49 and was waiting with cash. I was staying solid, saying I am dollar cost averaging here. We likely don't go down. It's more likely that we go up, and that's exactly what happened. And we may not now go down and visit those levels. We may have seen the 53K local bottom. I do think we, of course, can come back and retest that 200-day, and maybe we'll break below it. Again, I'm very wary of this pump on low volume, and I'm very wary that we haven't retested the 200 EMA on the daily, and I'm very wary that the CME gap has yet to be filled. So let's see what shakes out tomorrow. Maybe it'll all happen while I'm sleeping, and this video will go out in about, like I said, in about 6 hours. So we'll see if there's been much of a price change, and we'll see what the market does at the market open. As always, thank you so much for watching, and until the next video, happy trading.